This is going to be my reaction video to the Ravens' 24-16 win over the Titans in Week 6. Puts us at 4-2. There is a lot to be excited about or happy about, but it's going to be very difficult for me to maintain that level of positivity here. We are 4-2 after going over to England and getting a win over the Titans, who have some tough football players, particularly on the defensive side. So from that standpoint, some people may say there's a lot to be excited about or a lot to be pleased with when you're 4-2. This is a difficult team for me to watch. I will admit that up front. In terms of a 60-minute football game, this team reminds me of the 2022 team. At this point right now, I'm not saying that that's what we're going to be completely throughout the whole 17-game regular season and hopefully the playoffs. Try to remember what your thoughts or impressions were last year after Week 6. I think it was Week 6 when we went to New York, controlled much of the game, and then blew it in the fourth quarter against the Giants. And we're 3-3 at this point. We're one game better right now. It's very obvious to me that we should be 5-1, potentially 6-0. You don't get to put wins in the win column based on should, and I don't want to be disrespectful towards the Titans, Steelers, or the Colts at all. But I don't think those are among the most talented teams we'll play in 2023. I think you can say that the Bengals are going to be a difficult team for us to play because of their talent level. The 49ers, the Dolphins, the Chargers later in the season. Very difficult stretch to end the season for the Ravens, if you ask me. Again, I don't want to be disrespectful to Titans or Steelers fans who may or may not be listening at all, but certainly don't want to lose viewers at this point. But I just don't think that the Ravens are playing 60 minutes from an offensive standpoint in a way that's going to allow us to beat really good teams, some of the more talented teams that we're going to play, and I just don't think the Steelers and Titans fall into that category right now. So to kind of bridge that in terms of my analysis, let's get to the offensive stats somewhat. First half, Lamar and the Ravens run 30 offensive plays. There's 3 field goals in there, maybe 4, that count as far as offensive snaps, but I'm just going to divide it by 30. So we go 228 yards in the first half on 30 offensive snaps. Really neat because it's almost, it's a little under 8 yards per play. Got an 18-3 lead at that point because the Titans gifted us a field goal on the last play of the half. Our next 3 drives, I feel bad asking you to relive this or listen to me talk about it, but our next 3 drives in the second half go 3 plays, -1 yard punt, 2 plays, interception, the one where Bateman turns in. Lamar, on live watching, I thought, okay, Lamar threw it to the outside, Bateman turned in. When I got the replay, Bateman looks in a direct line with the ball flight path. I don't know. It's difficult for me right now to say, show some effort on that. I can't wait to see the All-22 or the end zone and actually get, a replay of it. I'll try to look at it later tonight. So I could be wrong there in that judgment. Then the third possession, after the Titans got that touchdown run by Derrick Henry with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, we get the ball. That's our third possession of the third quarter. We go 3 plays, -1 yard. Kind of unbelievable to say that's the same offense. What is it? You could say we go conservative. We go away from what's working. I don't know which of these is to be true. There's probably a little bit of truth to all of them. But one thing's for sure, our effectiveness level falls off a cliff. And we said it. Somebody said in our Discord, it said the defense got to step up here, and they sure did. Geno Stone saved the day. Kurt Warner did a very nice job of covering this play. I think it's a third down. Perhaps a little greedy by Tannehill. Henry's kind of open in the right flats, and Stone makes a great play because Tannehill's trying to go up top. I don't know about you, but watching this game, it's a one-time watch through. I'm kind of glad we don't have DeAndre Hopkins, just based on what I saw today. Let's put it that way. Anyway, the defense gets a stop in that third quarter, which was a huge moment. Because at that moment, when Geno Stone has the interception, it's been 9 minutes of gameplay since the start of the third quarter. And our 18-3 lead has dwindled to 18-13. And the Titans have the ball. Now, in this case today, they didn't score. Geno Stone made a play. We know how the game ended, 24-16. That, to me, reminds me of the 2022 team right now. That's probably reactionary analysis by me, but watching this team, particularly the last 2 weeks, has not been fun, at least for me. Maybe your experience is different. I'm glad we got a win. I can't wait to settle down from it. I'm recording this probably 35 minutes after the game is over. If you go over to England and you get a win, without Ojabo, without Bowser, who we haven't seen at all yet, Marcus Williams and Marlon Humphrey are clearly not 100%. That looks obvious. Kyle Hamilton gets ejected. The Titans are gifted at least 3 first downs from penalty, maybe 4. I really don't know how you're supposed to play defense at this point in the NFL. So maybe there's some shading here in terms of my impression. Maybe there's some shading in terms of the game result or the gameplay. Read into that what you will. But I'm trying to remind myself that these wins are not particularly easy in a lot of ways. It still seems as if we make them more difficult. It still seems as if we want to turn the difficulty setting up by having the offense just disappear for moments at a time. Those 3, you can't waste 3 possessions in the NFL, and we clearly did. Again, I don't want to run down the Steelers or the Titans. They got 2 great franchises and a lot of lifelong football people over there that have done amazing things. Let me let some of the stats show here. My lead-in's kind of long here. Vrabel, Tomlin, all of the defensive talent both of those teams have, they deserve credit, and some of them have had amazing careers. I just think the Ravens, in the first half of both of those games, showed to be very talented and dangerous offensively. And what is it that we disappear for stretches at a time? That falls at the feet of everyone. Harbaugh, Monken, Lamar, everyone. Everybody, what happens that we just fall off a cliff? And when we do, bad things seem to happen from a team standpoint overall. It might be a situation where we're not adjusting well on offense from a coaching standpoint. I don't know that. That's not fair to Todd Monken, really. He's only been here for 6 games. But early returns, particularly the last 2 weeks, we fall off a cliff after halftime offensively. If we get to 10 games in or 14 games in and that dynamic holds true, meaning plus 200 yards of total offense in the first half, missed opportunities where we have to settle for field goals, and then we fall off a cliff in the third quarter, what else should we conclude? Now, having said that, and this is the fun part for me, what Lamar and the offense did on the 10th and 11th drive was just badass. We're going to jump to that 10th drive now before I talk about the first half. We get the ball following Geno Stone's interception in the third quarter. I think I misspoke a minute ago. It was about 4.5 minutes left. And it's 18-13. Our lead has been cut. Tannehill throws the interception on a third down to Geno Stone, and we get the ball, 10th possession, starting from our negative 44-yard line, which you should see there on your screen. We work the clock all the way down to the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter. Yeah, Lamar scrambles on a 3rd and goal down here from the 3rd and half. Our play calling there inside the 5 and the 10. There was times where I was wondering what was happening. Number one, I actually missed 2 of those plays. My stream was messing up. I thought Lamar was amazing on this drive. First of all, let's do the 3rd and 2. Third play from your top. 3rd and 2 from the 48. Since there's no negative in front of it, that means it's on the Titans side of the ball. Titans side of the field, excuse me. We get twin slot B. Lamar keeps it. I think he faked out the cameraman. There's a penalty, offsides, I think, on the Titans. 12 yards. That 3rd down zone read has been important for Lamar. We ran it like 3 times all last season in 2022 in terms of actual zone read, where we isolate a defender and he kind of can't be right. Perfect read by Lamar. 12 yards, gets us a new set of downs at the Titans 36. And again, keep in mind, it's 18-13 at this point. Andrews gets that short completion in the right flats boundary against Biard on the 2nd and 10, 2 plays later, and we get a 3rd and 6. I thought this was a fantastic play by Lamar. It looked to me, and they showed the replay of it from like a really close angle. I have no idea how they got that angle. It looked like to me Lamar went through 2 reads. 1, 2, and then dumped it down to Gus. And again, we're on the 32, so we're kind of already in Tucker's range. I understand that. But this to me was kind of like, okay, we're assured of a field goal now because Gus got 12 out of it. I know there's a lot of plays made in this game. Zay Flowers' touchdown was unbelievable. Geno Stone with the interception. Clowney and Van Noy and Matabike were just destroying their offensive line. This play to me is going to be underrated by Lamar. A great find of Gus, just quick. He worked through the reads fast. 1st and 10 call I thought was very confusing. We go bunch A, pin pull pitch. It just wasn't working. The Titans are really good against the defense. But I thought there were some returns on our early runs, and I'll try to set that up later when I talk about the 4th possession. The 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3 from your 14. I got a spelling error there. Forgive me. 3rd and 3 from their 14, and Lamar scrambles all the way across the field right to left. That was ridiculous. The Titans have great pursuit, and they've got great speed on defense. Just give them credit. We've got to wait till 17 games, I guess, till 17 games of the regular season to make a final statement about the Titans' defense. They look like a pretty good defense to me. And for Lamar to make those 3 plays that I just talked about, who else in the NFL makes those 3 plays? I'm sure there's somebody. Keeping it on the zone read for 12 yards. Finding Gus for 12. Okay, you say that's easy, coach. It's a dump down. It's a check down. And then the 3rd and 3 scramble back across the green gets us another first down to end the third quarter. I thought at that point a touchdown's going to break this Titans team, who had shown a lot of fight in the third quarter. Let's at least put it that way. Give them credit. I missed the ensuing next 2 plays. Should be 1st and goal from the 10. 6 yards. I don't know who. I have no idea. And then Gus for about a yard. And then it looks to me like there's times where people go zone, and it kind of gives us trouble down there. I mean, inside the 5, inside the 10. There's just no lanes to throw to. So until we get the all-22, I can't really make a conclusive statement there. But I thought that drive showed how difficult it is to defend Lamar and how in control he is in a lot of ways, that he knows when to scramble, he knows when to dump it down. That was a beautiful illustration of clutch play by him. Defense gets a stop on the ensuing possession. I thought that Patrick Queen made an incredible play on that ensuing possession. I think it was a 3rd and 6 from like the -40 in terms of the Titans having the ball. Queen sheds a block. Actually, he just destroys Tyjae Spears. And then him and Roquan make the tackle as Willis. I almost said Patrick Willis. As Willis scrambled to force a punt. So 11th possession. Again, a huge moment for this offense. Even though we didn't get touchdowns, and we're all disappointed, mainly myself. I'm pretty angry after watching how the game finished in terms of us not finishing this team. I still have to give credit to the offense and Lamar and all those guys for going out there and making plays once the Titans had closed to 18-13. So picking up here, 11th possession. We get the ball on our own -10-yard line. The Titans are surging at this point. It's still only a 1-score game, 21-13. We settled for the field goal on the 10th possession that I just talked about. Screen to Flowers on the first play. Man, those kind of loosen the defense up at times. 8 yards. I love the jet dive stuff, which was a second play, a 2nd and 2. Gus, tough run. I think it was Al-Shahir, whose name I'm apparently mispronouncing. I feel bad. He had 15 tackles today. Hell of a football player. I think he was there with Gus, and Gus kind of powered through to get the first down for 2 yards. Huge play, the 4th play of this 11th possession. I think it's cover 3 by the Titans. 2nd and 11 from the -19-yard line. The field position battle still hadn't flipped before this play. We're still kind of backed up. 2nd and 11. Gus just lost a yard on a run play. I think it's cover 3. Andrews up the right seam into the boundary. 39 yards. Pretty amazing throw to me. Perfectly dropped in there. Kind of reminds me of a throw that Lamar made against Arizona, except that one was in the middle of the field, but the trajectory to get it over the second-level defender and drop it in there. There's on time, there's on target, and then there's the touch. And that, to me, is the part about Lamar's game. Those 3 things happening all at the same time on so many plays. He looks like he's in full control. 39-yard gain, amazing. We run the ball for the next play, only 3 yards. 2nd and 7, incomplete to Andrews for 0. And then Lamar scrambled. I thought he got it. We ended up getting the first down because of a defensive penalty anyway, but it's a 3rd and 7, twin slot A from their 40-yard line. I thought Lamar got it. And I guess we're going to mark him a half-yard short, but there's a penalty on the Titans that gives us a first down. Screen to Flowers. Again, I love those calls, especially either early or late. The tight end sneak, I got a problem with that, man. The initial surge by Andrews, whether you like the call or not, it's 4 minutes and 20 seconds left, 3rd and 1, and we're going to sneak with the tight end. People are doing that now. The tight ends are bigger, stronger bodies than the quarterbacks. They're used to more contact. Okay, fine. The initial surge by Andrews is clearly short. He's not down until he falls down on top of a teammate. He was probably touched during that process, so it's fine to rule him down. If we're short here, I think we're 2 or 3 inches short. The initial spot looked like about 10 inches short or a foot short. Harbaugh nearly challenged it. Gave us, we got a field goal. We settled for a field goal to give us a 24-13 lead that we know was still a perilous situation because of how crazy this team is. But I thought the 10th and 11th possessions, the credit has to go to the offense. You could say, well, Coach, they were gifted a first down on that 3rd and 7. Lamar scrambled, and he's really close to it. I think it's Murphy Bunting, the guy that came over from Tampa Bay to Tennessee, who played quite well for them. I think he's the guy who had the pick. Lamar picked up that first down. He was really close to it. So I credit to our offense. Like we were pissed off at how much we struggled in the second half. This 10th and 11th possession, we didn't look as dominant as we were in the first half. We certainly didn't look as poor as we were those 3 possessions in a row in the third quarter. But if those two things are polar opposites, the first half is 100, positive 100, and the second half, those first 3 possessions, 3 and out, interception, 3 and out. If that's 0, what is the 10th and 11th possession? My claim is that it's like 65-70, meaning we can accomplish things if that's how we play that 10th and 11th possession. If the 10th and 11th possession happened in the first half, it would fit in line with how our offense played. I'm certainly not trying to persuade you that our offense played extremely well, but I'm trying to dial back my own negativity because I was quite pissed off as the game came to an end. All right, let's talk about our defense. With this team, it's never over, apparently. So that 24-13 lead, look, I think we have a very good defense. And Clowney, Matabike, and Van Noy were just amazing at times today. They collapsed the pocket. They were disruptive. People are going to run down our 4-2 record right now. They're going to. They're going to look at the quarterbacks that you beat. You can only play who's on your schedule. This isn't college or high school where you have some manner of control in terms of who you play, where and when you play them, because of the number of bye weeks in both of those schedules. NFL gives us our schedule. So we can only beat the team. Look, we've beat C.J. Stroud. We beat Joe Burrow. We beat the Browns backup, who I think is hurt at this point. And then we beat Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis. But look, the Titans came in only giving up 18.6 points per game in terms of their defense. We scored 24. I think we could have scored 30 or 31 or something like that, or even 34. But we're 4-2. And that's only because of 2 games where we were clearly in control at some point, and we forfeited the lead. At this point, up 24-13 today, it's like, okay, we've got a great lead here, an opportunity to win this game, and the defense gives up a big play. The one that really pisses me off and makes it difficult to sit here, and even though we played extremely well defensively, that screen is on 3rd and 7, guys. I'm talking about the one to Tajay Spears in the fourth quarter. Up 24-13, they're struggling. I think the Titans have run 9 offensive plays to move from the negative 25 to like the 43. Maybe it was the 45. It's 3rd and 7. Something like that. They go empty and they run a screen to Tajay Spears, who almost takes it to the house. He has poor tackling on that play. We look out-leveraged on this play. To me, it reminds me of the Bills in Week 4 of 2022. You remember there was a time where empty screens just ripped us apart? That's what it looked like to me. It looked like the same concept. 3 receiver side, throw the screen out there, either pin us inside with blocks, pull some linemen out there to kick people out, essentially a down-down kick scheme, but it's a topic for another video. We get pinned inside, and then we can't tackle. Like I said, really reminded me of early 2022. Spears had motioned out late, so credit the Titans. Maybe we were locked into our coverage at that point, and him motioning out late kind of caught us. Empty seems to be something that occasionally looks like a weakness for Mike McDonald's defense, and I think we've played incredible defense so far this year. Then a huge moment. I mean, Van Noy and Clowney just take over. They disrupted everything from there on out. Vrabel eventually chooses to get that field goal on 3rd and goal from the 20. 3 plays after, they were at the 1, mind you, and I thought Malik Willis was very close to a turnover. Scrambling out to the left side, designed run play, I should say, not a scramble. He was very close to a turnover. Instead of running out of bounds, I thought he almost fumbled. We get a fortunate call, a block in the back call on Spears, and they're backed up. Vrabel smartly takes the field goal to get them within 24-16. And likely dove on the onside kick in a manner that was surprising to me. It looked like he was fielding a baseball. Like, oh, I know where this ball's going to go. Not anticipating any type of irregular bounce, and he was right. It's a win. But one thing that we have to evaluate is this looks like a unstable football team at times. And I think that's a reflection of Coach Harbaugh. I do, and I really like him. And he's a Super Bowl winning coach, and I respect him. I'm glad that he's our coach in a lot of ways, but we make things difficult. We do. We make things difficult from our choices. Look, we gave up a point early in the game. I haven't mentioned that yet. It certainly would have been nice to be up 25-16 instead of 24-16 when they have the ball. Or excuse me, when they're potentially going to onside kick. Certainly would have been nice to be up 25-13 on this drive that I'm talking about, where Clowney and Van Noy and I think Matabike took over, forced them backwards. We can't give away points. The margin for error is not that big. We seem to make things difficult. I want to make some notes about the first half because it's probably a lot more positive than this one so far. So let's let the game stats roll for a second. We know we controlled the whole first half. A lot of guys touching the football are some of my notes. I just like to make notes there. Thought we wasted at least 2 red zone possessions where we settled for the field goal, but we were clearly setting up play action early. What I'm talking about is the first 2 or 3 possessions, we were lining up in particular formations and running the ball. And then the drive that I want to focus on is our 4th possession that you guys briefly saw there. So we're up 9-3. We had run the ball heavy inside the red zone leading up to this, unsuccessfully, obviously. And we get play action to Andrews on the first play. If you look at the top line there, it's 1st and 10 from the -20, 22 personnel. We had shown that personnel grouping and formation earlier, and we go play action to hit Andrews quick over the top. It's a 2-man route with potential running back leaking out late. Max Pro, I thought. You saw Kolar in the game, I think, and Ricard on the right side. He was the fullback. They were protecting the right side. So 7-man protection scheme. Tailback slipping out left. Andrews is part of the twins to the left-hand side. Brilliant play call, if you ask me, given that we had shown them that formation and run the ball earlier. And then let's go 22 personnel and do it out of that. And so they're going to commit to the run, which they kind of did. We threw it over the second level in front of the third. Big play. Hill with a nice run on the very next play for 7 yards. We end up getting the first down on another run by Hill for 9, which was kind of impressive to me because at that point their run defense was quite stout. We convert a 3rd and 2 with another run to Gus, and then I really love these 2 play calls down here at the bottom side of the screen. There is a penalty on the Titans on a 3rd and 6, which is on Jeffrey Simmons, I think, and I think it was warranted. The refs, if you ask me, kind of kept the Titans hanging around, let's put it that way, in the first half. 22 personnel, 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. So again, 22 personnel, we go play action. It's only Ricard for 3, but I like the mindset of going heavy personnel and then go play action. Very next play, 21 personnel. So we took one of the tight ends off the field. Play action, Lamar slides left and then kind of steps up and finds Flowers wide open. Awesome play by Lamar. Great job by Flowers. I think it was Landry, who's an underrated football player for the Titans. I think he was defending there into the boundary. So, clear mismatch once Lamar extends the play. Just too much time for a guy like Landry to cover someone like Flowers with his agility and speed. So we're up 15-3. I do not understand going for 2 here. Nothing about it makes sense. There's 33 minutes left in this football game when we scored that touchdown, I believe. Let me check. I think it's 3.5 minutes left in the first half. I got 3:24. Maybe I'm wrong in my notes. I don't understand why we're acting as if there's only 3 minutes left in the entire game. If there's 3 minutes left in the game and you want to be up by 14, okay, cool. Or you want to be up whatever you want to be up by. Fine. If there's 13 minutes left in the game. There's 33 minutes left of gameplay. No, there's no level of analytics that can predict what the third quarter is going to look like. Does our analytics account for how terrible our offense is going to be in the third quarter at times? Because it should. Or maybe it should. I don't know. This decision makes no sense to me. Apparently Flowers got in. OBJ was called for offensive pass interference. And then karma being karma, or like Rasheed Wallace used to say, ball don't lie, or the line don't lie. Extra points blocked. We kind of deserve that, man. It's a questionable decision for me. Maybe you disagree and you think that we should always go for 2 if the chart shows it. It's not analytics, guys. It's a chart that tells you what to do. I've had one in my hands before. It's a chart that tells you what to do depending on how many points you're up by. But that chart needs to be different for the first half and the second half. Ours was. We had a fourth quarter chart on one side and a first half chart on the other. In the third quarter, there was no question. You take points. Get the points. I don't get it. We've certainly been happy to have that extra point later in the game. In any case, let me talk about some guys that played really well or deserve mention. Marcus Williams and Marlon Humphrey, like I said, don't look anywhere near 100%. Williams is a warrior, but in my opinion, at this point, we should save him from himself at this point. Those 2 guys are gold standard players and people for me with the way they play the game. I think Marcus Williams is compromised, and I could be wrong. Maybe it's just going to heal over time, but I think we should think about holding him out for a month or a period of time such that he can get healthy. Having Geno Stone is a huge asset. Love his style, his ability to step in and make plays when needed. Another interception in a huge moment. I mean, he's the guy who had the interception down at the goal line when Burrow is targeting T. Higgins. That changed the game. That changes the dynamic of that game. We got a winner there. Resign him now or whenever we can. Another guy, and I've been saying this for a year and a half, like that we should resign Justin Madubuike. What are we waiting on? We're waiting on him to have an 8-sack season. Get him signed. I know we re-signed Broderick Washington, so maybe we made our choice there. But him, Madubuike, Van Noy, and Clowney, they disrupted everything. I think we had 6 sacks on the day. Clowney had 2. Madubuike had 2. I think Clowney had 4 other quarterback pressures. Kind of amazing. I don't know about you. It was good to see OBJ with that big catch on third down. Really slick arm angle by Lamar, if I remember correct. And I'll have more to say about Lamar here in a moment. I thought that was a big spark. It was on our second possession. I do expect OBJ to be involved and make some plays. We have the depth to not wear him out in terms of overall snaps with all of the receivers we have who can make catches, make plays. Andrews only had 4 catches, but 2 big ones, I thought. The play action that I talked about, and then the one up the seam in the fourth quarter against what looked like cover 3. The play that Lamar made with Gus on that third down, I think, it can't be talked about enough. Yeah, we only got a field goal out of it. The game was still in doubt until late. That onside kick, I mean, if Likely doesn't feel that onside kick and the Titans get the ball, we're in a lot of trouble potentially. But it cannot be overstated if you ask me. It's 3rd and 6 from the Titans 32. Lamar goes through 2 reads and dumps it down for Gus for 12. You can say we ran the ball too much, coach. Gus didn't, make a whole bunch of people miss, break a lot of tackles. I'm okay with that assessment. But this was a tremendous play and an example of how this offense can be a true spread offense in terms of spreading the ball around, how many guys get to touch the football, and I really like that, and I'm glad that Justice Hill and Gus were healthy today and able to help us finish the game off. Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen, what can you say? 9 tackles each. They were active, played well. Run defense, yeah. When you look at the stats, Henry ran for 97 yards on 12 carries. That looks like a productive day for him. It really wasn't. He had a 63-yard run, so if I'm doing my math right, the other 11 carries that Derrick Henry had netted the Titans 34 yards. I thought overall we did a great job. Our D tackles played well inside. Madubuike was a force. Washington and Pierce, if you ask me, were disruptive against run concepts. The difference with Madubuike is he's able to get to the quarterback and finish some of those plays. Those stunts that give our O-line trouble, where the DN is stunting inside, the D tackles looping outside, look like Madubuike got at least 1 sack off of that. Clowney and Van Noy, the impact, is amazing. The fact that they played their best when we needed them to. Titans have the ball down there on the 1 and then the 6 and then the 20. Those 2 guys are ballers. Van Noy had a pass deflection. I think he's only credited with 1 sack today. He's just a winner. We're very fortunate, very blessed to have gotten him. And Clowney, another 2 sacks, 4 pressures. Insane effort from those guys. We needed it with Owe and Ojabo out. We're nowhere near full strength defensively, and we're holding teams down in the NFL. Regardless of what we think about the Steelers, the Titans, the Colts, whoever, our defense is playing extremely well with many guys out, and guys like Marcus Williams and Marlon Humphrey coming back who clearly aren't 100%. I'm going to finish with Lamar. What is there to say? I have no idea about the interception. To me, there is somewhat of a sense that this offense will turn the ball over once per game if the defense provides enough resistance. But I'll offer to you that dynamic could change. I love what we did on the 10th and 11th possession. We didn't go out there and just blow them away with amazing throws downfield, but that's not reality. It's not. In the NFL, when defenses are playing at a high level with tremendous effort and speed, they're going to make things difficult. I don't know who was at fault on the interception, but I wonder what Bateman was seeing or reacting there. On the replay, it doesn't look like a lot of effort. And I'm a big supporter of Rashad Bateman, but to me, there's got to be, maybe the ball is there quicker than he thinks. I don't know. But it doesn't look like a lot of effort to me. Maybe you have a different opinion. The clutch plays that Lamar made with his arm and his feet on the 10th and 11th drives just tells you how difficult it is to defend him and what we've got there. I think he proved that and this is early evidence for me, maybe too early for you, that's fine. I think he proved that in a difficult situation, when an opposing team's defense is surging, maybe they've figured us out, maybe they've made adjustments to take things away, because the Titans definitely did that in the third quarter. They made things a whole lot more difficult for us. Lamar's playmaking was a huge element on that 10th and 11th drive. He made every third down on that 10th possession, I think, except for the scramble near the end zone where it looked to me like the Titans were playing zone and there's a lot of guys there to converge with great leverage, outside player, outside force player, inside out player, and alley player. There's just a lot of guys there. So he didn't make that play. Okay, but we got a field goal out of it to make 21-13. You let me know what your thoughts are about how Lamar played. I thought, statistically, 21 of 30, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. There's going to be quarterbacks today who have whole heck of a lot more stats. Fine with me. I'm glad we got the guy we got. Final thoughts here. This team does look unsettled, and I've tried to recall my thoughts from last year, and I think I was of the same mindset that we were capable of beating anybody. The problem is capable of outplaying anyone. Let me rephrase that. We're capable of outplaying anyone for 30 minutes right now. The problem is we're also capable of these 8 to 10 minute stretches of play that can almost ruin the first half that we've built up. Lions are coming to Baltimore next week. They've still got to play today. I feel like we can get things done against them in the passing game. I've watched a heck of a lot of Lions film too. However, they're possibly the best team in the league against the run. Now, that may change after the Lions-Buccaneers game today at 4:30. This is going to be another opportunity for us to show that we can play 60 minutes against a very good team. If you look at our point differential right now, through 6 games, it's 133-91. That's pretty good, if you ask me. If we can figure out a way to go 4-2 in the next 6 games, we'll be 8-4. With the problem is there, though, we got the Rams, Jags, 49ers, Dolphins, and Steelers remaining on that schedule. Nobody wants to sit here and say, hey, I think we're a 10-7 football team. Right now, if you look at the schedule, we're 4-2 through 6 games. The next 6 games, go look at them yourself. Tell me how we go 5-1 or 6-0 in the next 6 games. There's talent there on the schedule, number one. Number two, we have a very demanding final 6 games of the schedule, really, because the Chargers are in there. This is similar to 2022 for me. Forgive me for that comparison if it ruins your Sunday or your thoughts. Early season losses have put us in a very demanding situation to control our playoff destiny. If we were 5-1 after today's win against the Titans, with the same score, the same gameplay, we would probably feel a whole heck of a lot better. At least we got a win today. But to me, it's difficult to be impressed with us as a 60-minute football team. I can't blame anyone, Ravens fan or a fan of another team, for thinking that we're not a serious contender at this moment. I will say this, though. When our defense is completely healthy, if that ever happens, we have the type of defensive talent to hold anyone below 20 points. And I include the Bills, the 49ers, the Chiefs in that statement. You may not. That's fine. This defense is well coordinated and very prepared for normal gameplay situations. We gave up a big run today to Derrick Henry in a Wildcat situation. Haven't seen it other than one replay, so I don't know what exactly happened. Looked like there's no force player there. And then we give up the screen to Tajay Spears. If you take those 2 plays out, you're talking about less than 150 yards of offense for this Titans team. The Ravens defense is capable of holding things together when the offense disappears for possessions at a time. To put it simplistically, if Todd Monken and the Ravens offensive staff can figure out a way to where we only disappear offensively twice a game instead of 3 or 4, I still think we can beat anybody, even though the tone of my negativity probably betrays that. You guys let me know what your thoughts are. I'm sure as the video premieres, you're commenting. Let me know in the comment section once the video posts up what you think of the Ravens' 24-16 win over the Titans. It's going to be an interesting game next week against the Lions. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think anyone else, any other Ravens fans would enjoy this video, enjoy this reaction to the Ravens' 24-16 win over the Titans, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing a link on social media to help this content get more reach.